Hello producers, it's Ozgun here and welcome to the channel. So last week there was a remix competition for Hardwell No Sleep and my brother Forehand and I just make a hard techno banger remix. So we couldn't win but we got honorable mention. So we already released this remix last week and we got many good feedback from you guys. So thanks for all the love and support. In this tutorial I'm gonna show you how we cook this Hardwell No Sleep hard techno remix with Forehand. And before I jump to the video, this Friday I'm gonna release on Kuroi Recordings. It's Mary One's label, Jack Ryan, and I'm gonna record a banger acid track and also new episode of Lunatic Radio. Again, gonna be on the channel on the Friday. So if you're ready, let's jump to that video. So guys, that's our remix. This is the project, how it looks like. So we finished it approximately in 7 hours. Forehand came to Istanbul last month and we just finished this banger in just 1 day. By the way, I also have a separate mastering project as well. I'm also gonna send you that. Let me first play the first drop, then I can just demonstrate how we made it. So yeah guys, this is one of my favorite drops recently that I produced. So let's start with the kick and bass. This is the kick, the main kick. It's like a 909 trance kick, and this is the top kick. Together. As you hear, like this kick definitely needs a little bit extra click to shine. Also, I'm just a little bit compression on the kick and a little bit EQ to kind of shape the, the transient, the low end. So without processing, I think it's still pretty nice, but with processing, so it's like a little bit extra touch. So that's the sub. As I remember, I just drag drop this from one of my previous projects and I just pitch it, like 900 semitones. So this kind of makes no sense, but it works. So without processing, it was something like this. A different key, a different tempo. It was just a low end sample. And yeah, I just literally drag drop this from another project to here. Cut the highs. And so with this in phase, I'm just phase shifting it until it sits well with the kick drum. I also had a phase alignment tutorial. I can just put a card somewhere around here if you want to check it out. And this is just one sidechain for the sub. And with the sub and kick, they sit pretty nice together in the mix. And for the bass line, guys, we have two bass layers. So one of them is just like a rolling bass. It sounds like this. And we also have like a re-space. This one is just for the cover some frequencies. For the rolling bass, just a low cut and a high cut and a little bit saturation, that's all. And for the re-space, like kind of this another mid bass, it's just like a band pass, It's just for covering some certain frequency. And whole bass line is like that. And also like in the bass group, we just a little bit saturation and mid frequency boost just for the upper bass frequencies, a little bit saturation and a little bit EQ boost. So it just makes the bass kind of more in your face, And one more layer in the second drop, by the way, and also like end of the first drop. And we are also adding a reverse, like a hard techno or maybe hard style bass. So yeah, We just cut the lows, saturate it a little bit, that's all. So it's even like making the second drop extremely more gritty. So in the end, like we got 4 different bass layers. This is how we made the low end. And one more fun fact before I proceed to the other elements in the track. Guys, I thought this track was in the key of D. Right? Key of D. We produced whole the track in D. Because when I listen the drop melody, and when I look at the MIDI, it looked like it was D region, you know. It starts with D, goes D sharp, like everything fits to the D region. But apparently it was not. After we post our remix, we realized the track was in G, you know. So the melody was written in the 5th of G. That's why it looks like it's D region. So this is kind of technical music theory stuff, right? So my point is our bass line is a different key than our melody. And the vocal, you know, the vocal and the melody and everything note of G, but our bass line in the note of D. So there are 2 different keys, but apparently it sounds perfect, you know. So my point is there are no rules in the music. As long as it sounds good, it's good, guys. Even after we realized it, I fucked up with the keys. I tried to change, you know, hold the bass line, make it G, make it fit with the original key, but it didn't work. So this version was already the best version. So that's why we just keep everything like this. Looks like has a D bass line, but everything else is in a note of G. And it works. And it works perfectly. So let me go to the drums, by the way. We are kind of having the clap most of the time. Forehand think this, and I think this was brilliant. It's just adding a nice texture to the kick. And behind this, we got a Schranz loop. Schranz, I don't know how to pronounce it. Loop itself was like this, but with transient processor, we reduce a little bit of release, just get the lobes of it, kind of shape it with suit, another lobe cut and sidechain. So it fits perfectly to our track. And then just the regular drums like open heads, closed heads, rolling head, and a breathing sound. Just for adding some texture. Also a brilliant idea from forehand. And we got some rides in the last part. Let's check the ear Candies. So we are starting with the screech sound. This was a drag drop from one of my previous projects. And I think I already covered how to make this sound in my tutorial Start to Finish Medics series. You can check it out. I think that's literally a drag drop from that project. So in the first part, the screech sound is just a screech with sidechain. And in the second part, I'm just adding a trans gate. So it just makes it a little bit more interesting. And we got some horn sound. And we got another render of it, literally the same, but 1 octave lower. And they together sounds like this. So this sounds also, if you check the correlation meter, out of phase. It's probably not going to sound good in mono. Meh, not bad, you know, not as powerful as the regular one, but still it worked, you know. We didn't think much about this sound because it's just playing only once in the first drop. And we got tons of ear candies. Let me show how they sound. Yep. So always try to feel the background of the drop. Otherwise, it sounds pretty empty. So we got two of the ambience, like a drone background sound. One is like choir, gated choir, and one is just like a sequence. And other than that, we just got noises and stuff. And lastly, for the first drop, we can check the drop leads. So this is just a melody from the original track itself. We just write the melody by hearing the original one. We got 3 layers for this drop lead sound. First layer is, I think, Serum. This is one of my presets from Production Music Live. It's like a screech sound. The second layer, I think, again, Serum. One of my presets again. And one more layer, which is just a white noise layer. And they all sound pretty dope. So the noise layers, we saturated and low cut. And for the other screech layers, a little bit high cut because it was pretty noisy. And when you layer a noise, you can just get rid of the high frequencies of the other layers so they don't, add up to each other and make annoying sound. And some low cut. And in the group, distortion, a little bit EQ, some clipping. This is for filtering. This is for just making it fit to the mix. So side widener, this is what I'm using for making my tracks wide, my, leads, that kind of sounds. It works perfect. Some reverb to fill the gaps, like with this automation, and just my regular delay reverb patch. And with OTT, that's all. So it's enough to make this powerful leads, just 3 layers and a decent processing. So if we go to the break section, we have the vocal. By the way, we use the vocal like Foreman 500 down. No sleep. I know that you call me when you're low. We thought this fits better to the hard techno vibe, So in the break section, there are nothing much going on in terms of synths. There are just some tension sounds. And some cinematic drums with a breakbeat and bunch of ambient sound like crackles, like sweeps, drones, After that, let's go to the second drop. So second drop is pretty much same with the first drop, but this time, instead of a screech lead, with the same melody, we are using a binary sound vocal lead. So this is a Nexus preset. And just a noise layer as well. And for the processing wise, I think it was this channel. And for the processing wise, so actually I just drag drop this processing from my upcoming project. It's gonna release in June. So just an EQ. So it has like EQ, transient processing, some basic stuff, reverb, saturation, delay reverb, OTT, and in the group, it's not finishing, a little bit EQ, some filter saturation for saturating, side widener, track spacer. I think it's for the second part of the drop to separate the vocal lead with the screech lead. that's for automations only. Yeah, the rest was for automations only. So as you see here, this is like a pretty processed heavily sound. Without processing, it sounds like this. And with processing, and as I said, we are just adding another hardstyle layer in the second drop. So it's super, super brutal, I think. That sounds like that. And yeah, guys, I think that's it for this track. This is how we made the production. And yeah, it also has all the mixing in it. But still, we made the stem mixing, like finalizing and stem mastering in a separate project. Let's go to that project now. So that's the final project of the track. I added like intro and outro from the existed stems, literally from this project because we didn't make it in the previous project. And so I think other than mastering, there's not much going on. So the thing is, I'm adding like this SSL channel strip to the channels if I need it. I can just EQ it from here. I can use its compressor. I can use the gain stage, for that kind of stuff. As you see, I'm using it on several channels. And other than that, I'm adding Bristol to all of the channels and making digital summing, I'm just passing every of the stems to this Bristol bus, this plugin, and it's just mimicking some old analog console. It's just kind of adding some imperfections to the sound, and it makes it, more warm, more less digital. Yeah, I can say it makes it less digital. So like in every channel, the last thing in the channel is this Bristol plugin. So it's not doing anything, just there. I'm passing the signals through those plugins. And after balancing everything according to each other, I'm just mastering it, just going to the maybe loudest part of the track. So I have just a tape stop effect in here. I did it in the master. So this effect made by this free plugin, you can check it out, it's dope. And in the master, I also have this Bristol to lower the volume because my master was loud, like hell of a lot. I need some headroom to maximize the track, right? So I just lower it from here, like 7 decibels or something. And then a little bit compression, a little bit EQ on the master. I'm clipping, hard clip. And then I just jump to Ozgun. So I'm using 2 Ozguns actually. I always start with this, the stock dynamics, and I'm just adjusting the compressor section of it and I'm maximizing it. But sometimes I need further processing of my sounds and I just put another Ozgun, like without touching this. And for example, we thought the track needs a little bit of 100 Hz and a little bit of mids. We just did this in here. Some dynamic EQ, getting rid of some resonating frequencies. This vintage EQ, just boosting, as you see, a little bit of mids as well. This is now how you want to shape your master. There is no right or wrong mostly in this stage. As long as your mix is clean enough, now you can just color the track how you like it, how you want to hear it. The stabilizer, this is like an auto EQ thing, right? But we don't do it on the lows. We just do it in the mids and highs in just 25%. So let me play it. So it's like shaping the master, the peaks, it's dipping the peaks like not more than 1 dB, but I think it's still kind of making more pleasant to the ear. We have the exciter, exciting the top frequencies, so get more warm, high end. And then some multiband compression going on and a maximization. That's it, guys. That's the whole mastering for this track. It's tons of layers. I'm realizing it, but eventually it's a little bit compression and maximizing. The rest is just for coloring the track. So let's check the loudness. This was pretty loud. So -5, -6 RMS, bass, which is already a killer, you know, it's so loud already. And yeah, guys, this is how we made our hard techno no sleep remix for Hardwell's track with my brother Forehand. And we got honorable mention in the contest, which is more than enough to us. We are so happy to get mentioned by Hardwell and all the Revealed team. So I hope you learned something from this tutorial and you can apply these tricks to your own as well. Today that was it, guys. See you on the next video. Bye bye.